Are you thinking about getting the DJI Osmo Pocket 3? I've used it for 3 months now, and here's what I wish I would have known before I bought it. I've traveled to New York City with it, I've traveled to Nashville with it, I've done daily vlogs with it, and this is my unsponsored review of the Pocket 3, all the pros and cons I have. Do I regret buying it, and is it a right fit for you? First up, let's talk about the equipment I already have. So I do have my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I have a Canon 77D, and my Canon 77D has been with me through the thick and thin of life. It has traveled with me to numerous countries. It's been my everyday camera, it's been my wedding camera, it's been my portrait camera, it's been my travel camera. I've used that camera for everything. While I love the photos it takes on there, unless it was on a tripod, I've never really felt comfortable taking video on it. First of all, it's huge, it's clunky. The stabilization is not as stable as I would like it to be for video specifically without a tripod. Even though I love my Canon 77D and I will have that until forever and eternity, I just needed something smaller, better, and easier to bring along on my travels. I love that this is so small, so compact, literally smaller than my hand. I've been able to take this to a lot of places and nobody really notices it. I can't actually fit it into a pocket per se because women's pockets are just so much smaller than men's pockets in general, but I can fit it into my backpack too. Normally when I'm traveling, I put it in this middle pocket right here and it fits just perfectly in there and it keeps it safe and snug. It does come with a case, however, carrying that case, unless I'm carrying a big backpack with me, it's not logical to keep that case with me. So when I'm carrying this with me, it all fits in here perfectly and it works really, really well. The Pocket 3 is honestly very, very easy to use. I have worked with a lot of different cameras in the past and I think a beginner could pick it up very quickly. A beginner could pick this up and use it and create great content. Something that makes this so great is literally just right out of the box, it already works really well. So for example, obviously this microphone is going to do better, but the in-camera microphone itself, it works pretty well. Obviously the stabilization, because this camera is a gimbal camera. Also the face tracking, all you have to do to enable face tracking is tap twice on the screen, your face, and it will track your face. So even if you're moving, if you're walking, if you're doing something, it's going to keep your face centered, which is really, really cool and really helpful. When we were traveling in New York City, there were so many people around and I wanted to record it, I wanted to film it, but I could not pay attention to the small little screen right in front of me. I had to pay attention to what was in front of me, right? And so it was really nice to be able to have a face tracking so that no matter what, my face was going to be in frame, centered, good to go. This is also really helpful to be basically a cameraman when I don't have a cameraman. Another thing I really love about this camera is that the quality is just so good. It shoots up to 4K. For this size of camera, quality is insane. It has a 1-inch sensor. Whenever I was looking into getting a camera, I really wanted it for the video aspect, but I also wanted it to double as a good photography camera too. And while this isn't number one in photography, I'll show you a couple of pictures I've taken with this camera and it does pretty well. It's a lot better than my iPhone camera is, which at the end of the day is all I really care about. Obviously my DSLR has taken chef's kiss pictures before, but this Pocket 3 has done the job really well with both video and photo. So I'm very happy with that. Another really awesome thing about this camera is the low light performance. The low light performance is so good. This doesn't really have a place where you can attach an external light to it. I'll show you some fishing videos I've done and some videos of in New York City at night. It takes a lot before it gets really grainy, and so I'm very impressed with the low light quality of this. Like I mentioned before, the in-camera microphone is actually really good. Now that I really know how to work this microphone, I'm using this microphone typically for every single video now, but this microphone also is incredible. It is so easy. All you have to do is turn this on and then it automatically links up to your camera. That's all you have to do. Super easy, super simple, and the audio quality really does help and makes a difference. Another really cool thing with this microphone is you can use it as a remote. So there's a button you can press to start the camera and stop the camera. Okay, so let's say I'm over here and I want the camera to start. All I have to do is press the microphone, or if I want it to stop, I press the microphone. Done, good to go. It is so nice to be able to use that as a microphone, especially like I said, normally when I'm filming, I'm not with anybody. It just makes the process so much more seamless. I also really love the battery life on this. Okay, I've traveled to New York City with this, I've traveled to Nashville with this, and I have not had a problem with the battery life at all. And I use this camera a lot, especially when we're traveling. And if I'm ever nervous that I'm gonna run out of battery, there's an external battery block I can use that is so helpful, which I really haven't had to use that a ton of times, just sometimes when I wanted to top it up a little bit. Even if the camera was dying, it charges so quickly. It can charge in 30 minutes with your iPhone. If you're facing back facing, the quality is so much better than the front of your camera, right? Right now, I am facing the screen, yet the quality is still 100% there, and it would be the exact same if I turned it around. I love that. The time-lapse feature is also incredible. I love using that. I also love that in this case, they have the lenses magnetic in here. I have my wide lens in here. I love the idea and love the concept of the lenses being magnetic in your case already, especially since they are so small and easy to lose. I do really enjoy the fact that you can shoot landscape or vertical. This is really great for those UGC creators, content creators who want to do short form content. It is so nice to be able to shoot both horizontally for YouTube and then also vertically for shorts or TikToks or Instagram Reels, all of that stuff. For me, what I've been doing is I've been shooting horizontally and then I crop it in vertically. Basically, because the quality is so good zooming in like that, it doesn't affect the quality too much when I am making it for short form content. But let's start with the cons. So first of all, also this is probably the number one concern I have with this camera is how fragile it is and how probably easy it is to break. Thankfully, I haven't had an issue like that so far. I've been very good to take care of it, but it is kind of scary. This camera definitely is not an action camera. It's not one that you can just throw in the ocean. This can shoot action, but very strategic and careful action, okay? I'm so scared to break this gimbal. Also, one thing about this case too, it's a hard shell case, which is nice. Like I said, I do like that it's magnetic inside of it. However, one thing that could be better with this case, or at least with the gimbal or something, when you put the camera in the case, there's no way to make sure that the gimbal itself is locked into place. Maybe the camera is facing on the outside instead of the inside, so the camera itself is not protected. And so that is something that definitely is kind of nerve-wracking to me. So when I'm placing it in my backpack, I just try to double check, make sure that the way I'm placing it, even if the camera does come loose, that it'll be okay and safe and protected still. So you really just have to watch out for that and be careful. Like for me, my Canon 77D, I would be so willing to just throw it in a backpack. That camera is like 10 years old now. It's been through a lot, and it's also just a lot sturdier than this camera is. Another issue I found is that there is the slightest bit of lag when I'm taking photos or just in general. I wish it was so much more instant when I'm taking photos. There's always just like this 1 second lag that could just be faster. When I'm out shooting, especially doing daily vlogs and stuff, and something crazy is happening and I want to film it immediately, that 1 second lag is kind of a bother. Even though the photo and video quality are incredible, the overexposure on this camera sometimes is a bit much. Okay, so for example, right now I do have an ND filter on, so hopefully this is a little better, but let's say I was filming indoors and you can see a window. The window would be completely 1000% blown out and there's no help whatsoever, okay? I do change the exposure compensation to make it just a little bit darker. However, sometimes that just still doesn't work. Really, the only way I've found to help with the exposure problem is to get ND filters, and I'll link the ones I got below. And one thing I really like about these ND filters is that you can turn them on and off and it will completely close the camera. With the DJI lenses, this is the wide angle lens, you cannot turn the camera off and it completely shut with this lens on. So you have to take this on and off to make sure that it shuts completely. So that's why I typically, honestly, never really use the wide angle lens. With these ND filters, I can turn it on and off and it will completely close. Sometimes I have had trouble though, turning it back on and it completely opening again. But recently, I haven't had that problem. So just be careful with that as well. Another con is that the pop-ups last forever. And the only way you can take them off is completely swiping up. It's not like a deal breaker, but it is kind of annoying to have to do that every single time. I also don't really enjoy that it's a fixed aperture. I wish we had more freedom to use the aperture how we need to. However, aperture, there's nothing we can do about it. That is kind of a bummer. And then my last con is not having removable batteries. I love having a ton of extra batteries on me. And like I said, we do have that rechargeable block. However, if this battery goes out, I have to buy a completely new camera. It's not like I can just buy another $30 battery. I have to buy a completely new camera. And maybe that's why they did that, but it does stress me out. I do need to make sure I take care of this camera anyway. However, I really wish they had removable batteries. When you have removable batteries, then you're never going to be out of commission. You can always just pop in a fresh battery. Without removable batteries, you do have to wait for it to charge. And like I said, it does charge fast, but still that's 30 minutes you could be shooting. So am I glad I bought the Pocket 3? For me, it's been an absolute game changer. This is the camera I wish I would have had years and years ago. It's helped me create so much more content that I can feel good and confident about without putting a ton of extra work on me. I love the gimbal. I love the stabilization. I love the audio. It's so small and easy to travel with, discreet, and it's exactly what I needed. For me, I would be pretty confident to take this as my only camera while traveling. While this camera definitely will not completely replace my DSLR, it is such a good addition for what I need it for and for these videos and for YouTube specifically. I think for complete beginners, this would give you a great way to create quality content in a very, very easy, manageable way. And I think this would also be a great addition for professionals who need it for B-roll or need an extra camera. This is a great camera for high quality, quick shots. It would be great for those looking to start a YouTube channel, perfect for vloggers, for travelers, real estate agents, UGC creators. If you're interested in getting this camera, I do recommend it. And I have the link below if you're interested in getting it. I think that every single person who wants to create content in some way can find value in this camera. And I can't wait to see what content you come up with. If you found this video helpful, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 in the comments below. I'll see you soon.